Paragold is the destination for luxury home. We've brought the world's best design brands together in one place. From traditional to modern, indoors to out, our curated selection of furnishings and home improvements transforms every space. Get inspired with our go-to edits, featuring expert styling tips and exclusive designer shops, where trusted tastemakers pick products they love. With fast, free, full-service delivery on most items, we make it easy to bring your vision to life. Ready for extraordinary? Shop now on Paragold.com.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Illustration Department podcast. My name is Giuseppe Castellano. In this podcast, I talk to folks in illustration, graphic design, publishing, animation, and other creative fields about their work, the lessons they've learned, and the bumps and bruises they've experienced along the way. In this episode, my guest is illustrator, writer, and creator of Introvert Drawing Club on Substack, Beth Spencer. Life as an illustrator has its peaks and valleys. One moment, you've created an online phenomenon. The next, your book is canceled. As Beth and I discuss, no matter what happens, remember that illustration is a long game. Among the topics, Beth shares what she learned about herself after establishing the Introvert Drawing Club. We talk about why we should always use human intelligence when creating art. And Beth points out that you, dear illustrator, likely have what you need to create what you want. I hope you enjoy our conversation. I was listening to another podcast that you had done called something like Create, Inspire. Oh gosh, I'm going to get the title
yes,
wrong.
I know the one you're talking about. Evelyn Skye's podcast.
Thank you. People can look her up. It's a good podcast. Anyways, you had said, or she had said, that you had a book coming out.
It should be out now.
And now it's not.
Yeah, I'd love to tell you. I haven't really had a chance to talk about how that played out. I actually just got back from a retreat where I did a presentation about it for everyone at the retreat, and it felt really good to talk about it because it was, I think, it was one of the more traumatizing things that's happened to me in my really life. We were talking about the Human Intelligence Badge. I made this badge, and a lot of artists made their own badges, and I got a lot of great attention for that. And I was featured, that Forbes wrote an article about it. And
Fast Company did.
Exactly. I felt like I was really doing something incredible. That same week, I was expecting feedback on the final art for my book. And what I got instead was an email that told me they no longer wanted to publish this book, and they gave me two choices. One was, we put this book on hold, and there were lots of reasons, much to the effect of, it's not good enough, it didn't look like my portfolio work. I'm not saying it was wrong, it didn't, but it was art directed, and I was very much listening to what I was being told, and I felt like that was the right decision at the time because I really liked the people I was working with, and I still do. I'd work with them again. Put that book on hold and work on a different project, and I would be paid for both books. But it was less than what they even owed me for the rest. Right. It just wasn't a good deal.
Like a kill fee, or yes. I hate that term, but yeah, that's what it's called.
The other was I get nothing, and I don't even get the rights to my book. And I didn't like either of those. So
that's a no.
It wasn't
that's
fair.
A clear no.
Yeah, no. And it did come up right after I was getting all of that attention. So it just kind of felt like, there were so many other factors. People going on leave, new editor came in, and it just wasn't something she wanted to publish, which was fine.
Yeah,
but
that
at the time, it wasn't fine for me because my mental health took a nosedive. I just I was like, I don't even know if I ever want to draw again. I think they just really pulled the rug out from under me. It was like I didn't think this was an industry I could ever work in again. And I still don't know if that's the right place for me.
It is. I know it may not feel that way, but there's always room in publishing for unique voices, for a level of artistry in children's illustration that sort of transcends the generic, always.
Thank
and
you,
that's
Giuseppe.
easily a way to describe your work. So you're good. You're going to be fine.
Yay.
Trust me. You're going to be totally fine. Plus, you've got so many other things going that you are like, what's that saying, be so good that people can't ignore you, something like that.
Yes.
You're that good, not just with the work itself, but also with how you help other illustrators, what you've accomplished, what you've built, the community that you've built on Substack and obviously elsewhere, that at some point publishers they wouldn't be able to ignore you if they tried.
Oh, that's really great to hear.
It's true.
Thank you.
Very true. And agents too, if you decide to go down that route again, which, that is a thing. Mm-hmm. Certainly, illustrators I've talked to, some, I would say maybe 50% are folks who want to have an agent. Of the remaining 50%, half of them have one and are okay with their agent. The other half either have one and don't like their agent, or just recently left their agent, or is asking me how to leave their agent. It's a thing that happens. It's totally normal. You're not shooting yourself in the foot if you leave your agent. This kind of experience you've had isn't a career killer by any stretch of the imagination. It sucks, but it's not the end of the line.
Yeah, I felt so relieved the first time I started drawing again after that.
Yeah.
And I put that image in. I'm happy to send you a photo. It's the worst drawing of these businessmen at the airport.
Yeah.
But it's such an important sketch because I was, I felt like 100 bricks were off my back because I loved it. I felt good again,
Yeah. Is that what Introvert Drawing Club is about? I mean, I know it's about other things, but would you say that's sort of the core ethos of why you built that community?
Yes, just because it's kind of awkward, getting to like a place where you're having fun drawing. You have to make a lot of work that is not something you expect. So I didn't want to pressure people into feeling like they're having to compare themselves. And when I first started the group, we weren't sharing anything like on the Zoom calls, and we weren't even talking. And I thought, this is awkward, and I want to get to know these people. And I'm so glad I'm the worst introvert ever. I'm not. Like, I love talking to people. So I'm not going to change the name because it's still very much a place you can come get to know what people are drawing with, what they're drawing, and just practice drawing. We do a lot of animals because that's always been my favorite thing to draw. So
Sure.
I get to make the choices.
Yeah. When did you started Substack not too long ago, right? Last year?
It was about 2 years ago.
Okay.
I mean, yes, it was before. I really liked it better than Patreon because it was kind of like you have your own little website, but they've added so many bells and whistles. It's really distracting now.
A little bit. I've talked about this with Jason Chatfield, who I know you know.
Yeah.
And Adam Ming, who I know you know. And others. And about Substack, it's a great platform. I highly recommend every illustrator should join it. They don't have to pay a cent and they'd still get a lot out of it, for sure.
Definitely.
And if they want to pay some folks to take deeper dives into their publications, fantastic. If not, also fantastic. Yeah, it's a little cumbersome.
If you just use it on the web, I think it's much more easy to digest.
Yes.
But yeah, you should definitely drop some coin on illustration department. I was like, I got to finish this Richard Scarry article. I love Richard Scarry.
I love those articles. It's so fun because it's funny when I'm writing. Usually for me, I have a routine of like I alternate. I'll do an art history post, an illustration history post, like I just did Richard Scarry recently, and now I'm writing something about overwhelm and how to overcome overwhelm, because it's something that I'm currently working through on the personal and professional levels. I feel overwhelmed constantly. It feels like it's like my default reaction to anything. Anytime, seriously, someone comes up to me and goes, "Hey, can I talk to you for a minute? I need you to do something for me." I immediately feel overwhelmed. Like just even hearing that, hearing my words saying that, I get this little bit of like anxiety of feeling like, oh God, I don't know if I can do that. I have so much to do. I have so much on my plate. Anyway, it's an interesting article. It's coming out. But what I find about the whole process of Substack and just this whole thing about like, you have this plan of like what you're going to post, whether it's art or writing, you have this sort of idea. And in my experience, it typically never ends there. That's the thing about Substack or really any kind of like creative endeavor. Like, yeah, have a decent idea of where you want to go with it, but be very open to veering off into other directions. And I guess what I'm trying to say about the Richard Scarry thing is I was just going to write a bio of Richard Scarry, and then I ended up going into this little bit about how the children's publishing establishment didn't like Scarry. Mm-hmm. They thought he was too, quote unquote, commercial. He was too popular. He wasn't artsy fartsy enough, those kinds of things. And I didn't know that until I researched it, right? So it's you just don't know what you're going to discover. And maybe that's a life lesson. Maybe it's a social media lesson. Maybe it's an art lesson. I don't know.
That information is so valuable to your readers too, because, they might be feeling outcast or something. And to learn that Richard Scarry, had that same experience is really powerful.
Yes. Oh gosh, yes. There are all sorts of stories. But we're not here to talk about me. We're talking about you. Was there something that you learned through the Introvert Drawing Club that you didn't think you were going to learn?
What I've really, the biggest lesson and kind of slap in the face is how important it is to close the laptop, close the phone, and just go outside, or just get on a yoga mat. And I need to unplug for a crazy amount of time a day, more than I would ever think if I'm going to do my best work. Right. There's just no way I can answer every DM or every email in a timely manner, that I have to I'm only making my best work and giving the best thing I can offer if I'm actually going out and drawing or sitting at my desk and writing and drawing. I have to, they kind of just both happen simultaneously.
Yeah.
If my practice isn't going well, I can't give advice on how to have a joyful art practice, if I'm not doing that myself.
Exactly. Yeah, much of what I discuss with illustrators over the years, from building portfolios to portfolio reviews, like I did with you years ago, was it 2022 maybe, something along those lines?
Yeah.
Helping people discover their style or promoting work or whatever, submitting to art directors and agents, is how directly connected all of that is with finding a healthy way to do those things. The operative word being health. Healthy, joyful, comfortable. Those are the words that I think we should be striving for when it comes to creative output. I don't like the idea that self-sacrifice is a requirement for creative output.
Yes, same here. I think if I had, the guts, last year, I really wish I had that perspective, so that I could say this artwork isn't ready, and I don't think this isn't ready to go. We need to keep working on this book a little more, rather than turning in the final artwork and maybe it not, I don't know. I just feel like it didn't go the way it should have, and I am definitely just as much responsible as anyone else working on the project.
Right. I've talked about this on the podcast before. I've been thinking a lot about it of late. I sort of make these declarations or these observations or something, and then I sort of say them on the podcast, and then I reflect back on them, going "Shit, was I right? Maybe I wasn't right on that." But I think I'm right here in that artists and their art, it's a relationship. Just like any relationship, there are ups and downs.
Totally. Yeah, start thinking of your art as your best friend or something. And
exactly. Right. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. Yeah, exactly. And sometimes an piece of art is like your bro, man. It's like you and your friend, and you're both going, let's tackle this landscape together. It's going to be fun. Let's do it.
Oh, yeah.
And then sometimes it's somebody who doesn't even appreciate you. And so no matter what it is that you do, it just isn't going to be what you want it to be. And you just let it go. Mm-hmm. So I was going through all of these scenarios today before our chat, like, does this make sense? Yeah, I think it does.
I think it does, for sure. I was curious, what is something what do you think the thing you tell illustrators, that piece of advice, because I'd love to share it with Introvert Drawing Club, like what's a piece of advice you give the most?
Oh, good question. Oh, gosh. I don't know if it's the most, but it's up there. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Uh-huh. There is no such thing as perfect. Mm-hmm. Try to avoid words like master. You need to master this program. You need to master pastels. You need to, like, I wrote something on Substack a couple times ago about mastering, how overrated it is.
Oh, yeah. That's something, I think when I see that word, a lot of times I think, they used AI. Like that, and there's another one, unleash your creativity.
Unleash.
When I see that, I'm always, because I think I had Grammarly, and it would automatically just toss in a couple of AI suggestions, and I was like, this is ridiculous. I have a journalism degree. I don't want this anymore.
Oh gosh. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, maybe it all boils down to just stop looking at other people's stuff and just start looking at your own. Pay more attention to what you're doing than what other people are doing. Done.
That is I think that's probably, if you could take some listens to this, and I hope that they do, that's the best advice I think that I give myself.
Yeah. I was talking to an illustrator this morning about how she looks at, online, she'll look at other people's work. At the bookstore, she'll look at other people's work. And what she's divined from that is how her work is a lot sloppier and messier and more scratchy and more impressionistic than what she's seeing. We had this chat about, like, well, what you're seeing isn't real. What you're seeing on social media is what the algorithm has been curated this particular moment for you. So you must have looked at some other pieces of art that were that polished. So now that's all you're getting. Mm-hmm. And if you go to the bookstore for 15 or 20 minutes on a random Tuesday in the middle of August, that's not a good indicator of what publishing is doing. So you can't make judgments based on that either. Mm-hmm. So for example, right now my algorithm on Instagram is showing me home improvement reels and stuff like that. Here's how you can make your deck look prettier. Here are the plants that you should be planting. And so all it's doing is making me feel shittier about my house. That's all it's doing.
Yeah, and I mean, they're stealing a lot of our time too, those algorithms. Yeah. So, like, I have to be very strict about how much time. I have, like, a saying, if you got time to scroll, you got time to, what was it? I forgot my saying. Time to scroll, you got time to draw, or something really dumb. But I don't spend every second of the day drawing. But I know I have other, like, better things to do online than look at other people's work.
Exactly. So how precious are you with your time, with your creative time and your routine?
I have this app that I just got about a month ago called the Opal app. My dear friend Emma Carlisle told me about. She messaged me about it. I said, okay, I'll check it out. She gave me a little coupon code. It blocks me out of, like, whatever apps I need to not look at. Substack, email. I can't, but I can still, like, I just moved to a new city, so I have to use my phone for navigation, so I could still use the apps. I don't work for, this is not like a plug at all, but it has helped me do, like, I can't get on Instagram until after, like, working hours, which is like 5 p.m. But, like, I don't work from 9 to 5. I'm going running errands. Sometimes I'll sit in the car at Trader Joe's and draw. Like, I mean, that's like my me time, Right. So then I make sure I get the creative work done before I am opening any sort of social media, because something in my brain switches to like consumerism mode when I look at any of the apps, the Substack, and I'm thinking it just is a whole different experience when I take out my paints it's not going to come out the same. It's going to be a different mindset.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm the reverse, but I'm not drawing or painting. So it might not be a good comparison, but I do all of my social media stuff first thing.
I think that you have more to look forward to, you know? Like when I'm opening the computer for the first time of the day, I'm just like, oh, here we go.
Oh gosh, that. I was talking to somebody else about this. Being an illustrator can be hard. Understatement of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There is a great deal of joy. There's plenty of opportunity for fun, and there's all these interesting things you can discover. And these are the words I keep reiterating with mentees all the time. Discover, experiment, expand, keep your minds open to possibilities, adjustments, revisions. Like, creativity doesn't work that way. It doesn't want to be contained. I often make this joke with mentees because I have 3 teenagers. Trying to control your creative output is like trying to control a teenager. It ain't going to work. They will rebel.
Exactly. Yes.
And you will find nothing but frustration down that road.
Yeah, carrying stuff to, like a little bag of stuff to draw with is the best change I made in really ever. Yeah. Because, like you just have to always be open to jotting down what's around you and noticing and listening to people's conversations, in the store.
Oh, God, yeah. Always.
It's so important because, I mean, otherwise, like, I feel like I'm just coming out with this, like, I don't want to just draw, like, zoo animals because I need to know how to draw them to make a book or some project, I want to draw them because that's a fun thing to do. Like I would say if I was someone's mentor, I would say, like, don't make work to sell, like sell your work so you can keep making it.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Thank you.
Got to put a TM on that one.
Yes, I should. Don't make a picture book make a picture book so you can draw, not draw because you have to make a picture book and that's just like your dream. I feel like that was my approach before. Like I need to practice drawing people because I'm not good at that and I really want to be able to draw these characters.
Yeah, the other thing I often talk about with illustrators is you have to zoom out a little bit. No matter how hard it is or how great it is, it's a blip on your creative journey. It really is. And I didn't really think this way, honestly, until a couple of years ago when I started feeling not mentally well, to say the least. There were specific moments in every day that I needed to find little moments of joy and remind myself that how I'm feeling right now, this very scary time in my life, was going to pass. And it was very hard to finally convince my brain into thinking that was going to be true. And the same thing goes with any kind of endeavor. Endurance is key. And remembering that, again, the highs never stay as high and the lows never stay as low. There's always going to be a baseline. And our job is just to sort of keep that even keel and just keep going, moving forward and all of those things.
Yes, keep going. That's the most beautiful 2 words, I think,
Oh, gosh, yeah, I know. Joke that, Nike stole the best piece of advice for artists.
Just do it.
I wish they hadn't. Yeah, it's the best piece of advice. They stole it.
Really is. Yeah, you got to just do it a little bit at a time. I drew that human intelligence badge in 5 minutes and posted it, and people went wild. And I didn't even have the correct number of fingers, I don't think.
This podcast is produced by the Illustration Department, a global leader in online education for illustrators. Visit illustrationdept.com for offerings like mentorships and portfolio reviews, testimonials, our alumni showcase, our best-selling Substack, and more. That's illustrationdept.com. And now, back to our conversation. You made that in June of 2024.
Yes, I remember it was my brother's birthday.
Nice. He is a Gemini.
Oh yeah, he is, and he is an attorney now, so he can help me with my if I said something really stupid.
Oh, don't worry about that. First of all, you haven't. Secondly, I edit for stupidity too. I edit for ums and stupidity, mostly my own stupidity.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
I'm so happy to hear that.
It's funny, like I do cuss from time to time on this podcast, and people have emailed me about it sometimes, like, "Hey man, I just really want to let you know, I really like it when you cuss. It's humanizing." I cuss so much more than people hear it. I will like be like, "What the fuck is up with that fucking shit?" And then I'll edit all of that.
I can fucking cuss. I didn't know that. Yay.
Oh, I should have told you that in the beginning.
Oh, nice.
When you find yourself being productive, when you find yourself in that groove, right, that creative flow, whatever people call it, do you find there to be like a common denominator between those moments when you find yourself being more productive as opposed to less?
That's a really good question. Something I'll be thinking about even after we hang up. But for sure, lately, before I went on the retreat, all last month, I've been doing primary colors or studying just primary colors, how they layer. So I've just been writing these silly poems about the colors, and then like drawing or painting illustrations to go with it. And I thought people seem to really like that, and I feel like just listening to my intuition. But there is also, I've been reading a lot of Shel Silverstein from when I was a kid, because someone asked me to write a letter to a dead artist, and this was a year ago. They asked me to do this, and I'm just now getting around to it. Yeah, so I bought all these books that I never even heard of that he published, and so then A Light in the Attic, and all of his rhymes just like blew my mind into another dimension as a kid, and right. I think that has really influenced me, and because I think it's really fun to write that way. It's really fun to read that way. Yep. Now that I'm kind of like free to do whatever I want in this Substack, and I mean I always was, but I feel like I've hit a new, or I've passed that mark where I feel like I need to give people what they want, and I'm like, I'm gonna give them what I want, and that's silly rhymes and illustrations.
Isn't it funny? So many people who have really successful Substack platforms or Instagram or any other non-traditional publishing route. Isn't it funny how so many of them have managed to accomplish this, you included, by doing what they wanted to do, right?
It is
no
incredible.
Editor, no publisher, no marketing manager saying X, Y, or Z about your work. Just you did the thing you wanted to do, and you got to a level of success, this level of community that you didn't have just a blip ago. And that isn't to say that everyone needs to abandon traditional publishing or traditional ways of finding that success and making money and all these things. Of course not. But it's all about like, here are the possibilities. Here's what you can do here.
I've always been told that's not a way you should write a picture book. And now I'm like, maybe if I were to make this into a book, maybe it's not a children's book. Who knows, But
it can be. It could. There are possibilities. I think it's a better way forward for any creative person to think about what is possible, to expand the possibilities, not slot into a very specific idea of what you're supposed to be doing or supposed to be drawing or how you're supposed to be drawing or what materials you're supposed to be using. It's better to pull out all the stops. It's better to remove the hurdles. It's like you said, you carry a bag of drawing materials with you. You're making it easier to draw and paint, not harder.
Yes.
So maybe for some folks, it's like carry a bag of materials. Other folks, it's wake up earlier before the kids get up and sit down and do some writing. Whatever it is that you need to do to make it easier to sit down and be creative is what you should be doing. That's the should, not you should be working digitally or you should be working in pastel or whatever. Does that make sense?
100%. And I would suggest this is going to be very sobering for people, but if you hear Giuseppe's suggestion, you're like, well, I don't have time for that. look at how much time, open your phone and look at how much time you've spent on any of the apps and how much ever time that is. Stop doing that and draw or write instead. Please don't hate me.
Is it like, is that in your settings?
Yes, it's in settings in almost every operating system. Definitely Apple. It's screen time. It's on every phone, and I look it up every Wednesday, and I share it in my chat on Substack, and I ask people if they want to share any of theirs. I think one or two people will, like maybe a month. It's the least popular thing I do, but I don't do it for them. I mean, I do it for them, but I don't want them to feel like they have to share their numbers, because like that's personal, but I share mine for accountability, and it's just really helpful because knowing how much time I'm spending, it helps me make adjustments, so I'm not reaching for the phone all the time.
For transparency's sake and accountability's sake, I just looked it up.
Mm-hmm.
My daily average on Instagram is
I can't
2
wait
hours.
to hear it. 2 hours on
2
Instagram only? But you're
1 hour
looking
and
at
57 minutes.
That's your job, right? Like that you're looking at what's trending. You're looking at those sweet patios. Let's see what mine is.
That is true. 1 hour and 57 minutes.
Did you say this week?
Daily average.
Yeah, this week's daily average. Ooh, Instagram 33 minutes. That's 3 minutes over what I want.
All right. I need to cut down. See, I could cut down an hour. I could figure out how to cut down an hour. And that's an hour I could be writing. I could be
just
pulling some weeds outside.
Something, anything that helps get you some life back,
Yeah, exactly. I find I do my most writing, not my best writing. I do my most writing 5 or 10 minutes before I have to get up from my desk and get ready to go on a run or do some other like non-creative task. And that's when I'm like, oh, I got it. I locked in, and I can start writing, and I just, I'll write, and then it'll seep into my running time. So instead of running for 40 minutes, maybe I'll run for 20 minutes. I'll just keep writing. No, you know what? Let me just go outside, and I'll just walk around the street for a minute for like 10 minutes just to be outside. So I keep doing more writing. So I tend to procrastinate. I'm productive in a procrastinating kind of way. I procrastinate something else, which allows me to be more productive with whatever it is that I'm doing. I'd rather do this. I'd rather write than run. So I'm going to keep writing.
Are you listening to something when you're running, or are you running like no headphones?
Oh God, I can't. If I had no headphones, I would just die. I hate running, but I do it all the time.
It's the worst. That's true.
It's the worst.
It is awful.
Yeah. No, I listen to other podcasts, mostly baseball related podcasts.
Okay. I get like what you mean though, how you are procrastinating running, so you're spending more time writing. That's brilliant. I really like that.
Yeah, so that's what people should do.
That is perfect. I think that's a really good piece of advice. I set timers for almost everything just so I don't get wrapped up in just doing stupid stuff, because my studio is an absolute just landfill of like paintbrushes and pencils. So I could easily spend an hour after we get off here and clean it to procrastinate what I need to be working on. But I have to set a timer, 20 minutes maybe, and then just do what I can do and leave the rest alone.
That's helpful and handy. I do that with chores.
Do that, especially if you're going in an art supply store, because I mean, like I could spend way too long in there testing every colored pencil.
Oh yeah. I always go in because I need one thing, and I always walk out with like 3 or 4 things.
Oh yeah, that's how they get you.
That's how they get you. Like, I don't need another paintbrush, but this one's great. This one's a cat tongue. I don't think I have. I only have 3 cat tongue brushes. I might need 4. Yeah, stuff like that. Going back to the human intelligence thing for a quick minute. So you created the badge in 5 minutes, which blows my mind. And it's called Created with Human Intelligence. And so many people have drawn it in their style, which is what you asked them to do. And it blew the hell up. And obviously, Fast Company and everybody else starts writing about it. Yeah, and meantime, some other things are going on in your career that aren't so great. What made you decide to draw that badge other than AI is the worst?
I was just wanting to communicate to people that I didn't use that in my work for anything, because I'm starting to see so many of those little catchphrases, and I mean, I just don't want to be associated with the robotic looking writing, and how the images look like they've been dipped in oil, but what if they get to looking like my work, who knows where AI, how advanced it's going to get. It's crazy. When I first posted it last year, people embraced it, and then I reshared it this summer at the 1 year mark, and there were so many trolls. They were like just really letting me have it. Those trolls talking about what an idiot I am because AI, you gotta embrace technology, and it's there to help. I don't know. Technology is something I have that's been around most of my life. I've had laptops and all the good things, and I'm just tired of it. Like I drew with a stick last week, and I was like, this is great.
Yep.
It can only help us so much. I feel like it's gotten as advanced as it's going to get, and it's now just very difficult to use in a lot of cases, and we're screwed without it. What if I go on a trip and my navigation is not working? Well, okay, I'm screwed.
That's why you need a large Rand McNally map in your car. Everyone needs a printed map. This is good life advice. Everyone, go get a printed map and throw it in your car if you have a car. You need one.
Yes, I'm going to get one. I love that advice.
When the world ends, when we've used up all of our resources, because AI takes, when AI takes all of our resources and then dominates us, you need to know where you're going.
Like, I don't even use it for generating ideas, because, like, to me, that nothing makes me happier than that stage where I find something new to investigate or explore or try. I don't want any advice from some bullshit algorithm or whatever. I want to do it, and I want it to be 100% original, not influenced by other people's ideas. That's not my idea. If it's super, if it's coming up with, or if it's based on someone else's idea.
Definitely. Plus, what are you doing as an artist? If you're communicating stories that aren't your own or conveying emotions that aren't your own, what are you doing? You're just echoing someone else's creativity. You're echoing thievery or something. It doesn't make any sense to me. Not to
I've
sound
gotten
like old man,
pretty crazy about it.
Good.
So I won't even, my book ideas that I'm writing are not in my Apple Notes. I feel like it's all got to be on paper, because I don't know if they're training some AI model using my notes.
Have you noticed? Has anyone listening noticed? AI was, a couple of years ago it looked a certain way, and then within no time it improved. Within no time it improved again and again. It just kept improving pretty exponentially. Has anyone noticed that it hasn't improved over the last 5-6 months or so? It just seems like it's hit a plateau. I haven't seen anything that's as impressive or more impressive than it was in late 2024. I think it's finally gotten to a point where all it's doing is pulling. It's now starting to pull from itself too.
Yeah.
So it's all looking the same, and your description of it is perfect. It does all look like it was dipped in oil.
Like that Multiplicity movie with Michael Keaton. Like the clone of the clone is not so great.
No, it's not. Broken record time, everybody. It's 100% the worst. It's thievery. Anytime I hear anyone say you need to embrace technology, it's here to help. It's here to help. I mean, that sounds to me like Emperor Palpatine saying to the Senate, we're going to dominate your planets with stormtroopers for your benefit, for a safe and secure society. That's what I keep hearing. It's for your own good. What?
Have you seen anything or heard anything that you thought was good, that you were impressed that was made, that you know of, that you knew was AI?
Oh, that's a good question. No. And if
Okay,
I would truly say yes if I had. Go ahead.
Okay, someone showed me this AI video of James Hetfield singing Wonderwall, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. It was so bad though, but like you knew it wasn't him, you know?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Because it's the guy from Metallica singing Oasis. Like, it was so funny. My husband showed me. I didn't go out seeking this, but it was just really bad. I was a little impressed, but then after I found out it was AI, it kind of pissed me off.
Yeah. My wife and I were hanging out with some folks a couple days ago. We were talking to some other folks who, we're acquaintances. We're not really that tight, but we're all in the same space and we're all chit-chatting and having a good time. And they just kept talking about how like ChatGPT is such a helpful tool and how great it is. And what's so sad about this is that one of them was a journalist, which sucks. Wow. And how like helpful it can be and how students are using it for good. And Sarah knew. I just kept my mouth shut the entire time. Sarah knows how much I hate AI. And my wife, and she has another job where she, her team uses it and she can't help but not, she can't say anything because it's part of the corporate initiative, blah, blah, blah. But, the illustration department obviously uses zero of that and will continue to. And anyway, I hated it. So I just shut my mouth because if I said anything, I would have been like, don't you know how much water it's using? Don't you know how much it's ruining our environment? Don't you know how much it's affecting our brain patterns? Don't you?
Yes.
Anyway.
The people kind of like feeling like it's their friend. I feel like when I open certain like Google or something, like you can just talk, it'll say a prompt like you can just talk to me like you talk to a friend, and I don't like that. You're not my friend. No. You're Google.
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, how is a corporation your friend? I mean, that doesn't. God,
that's what they want. They want us to trust it. It's all about building. I mean, I probably sound like a conspiracy theorist old lady or something.
Not to me.
But yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, I don't want these corporations are not my friend. They're not my therapist. It's so predatory.
Yes, and that's the thing too. It's like I get the use of it. I do get people using it. Like, I don't want to criticize too much the people who are using it. I'm criticizing the people who made it. They suck.
Exactly.
The people who use it, I get how and why. I mean, especially when you're maybe feeling a little desperate, you're feeling a little, you're struggling, and gosh, all you could use is just a little bit of a leg up. Maybe I'll use AI for a little bit of something, just to help me kind of get into the swing of things creatively or whatever. I get that. Or kids are asked to use ChatGPT to help them solve the problem, but you know what? Let me just use it. Let me see if I can figure out. Let me see if like it can give me the answer here. I promise I'll not use it and do that again. It's very seductive, and it can be a very easy, slippery, and understandable slippery slope to essentially just leaning on it entirely and giving up on your own human intelligence. See what I did there? Wrapped it all back.
Yes, love it. Yes, I'm glad you made that distinction too, because I don't want people to think that I'm judging them if they use it, because a lot of us have had Google around most of our lives, and that's how we find out information.
Yeah, it's just someone said it's all it is a search engine that is operating at hyperspeed. It's a digital copycat search engine operating at hyperspeed. It's not intelligent. It's just taking information that it should not be taking and recreating whatever you want it to recreate based on that stolen information at hyperspeed. So it looks like it's intelligent when it's really not. It's just Googling and fast forward. All right, so enough of you and me yelling at the clouds and stuff, which we should be always yelling at clouds. Going back to Substack, going back to this community that, this is something that I talk to illustrators about, when they have these like larger communities online, and then they say to me like, I don't know if my work is resonating. Of course it's resonating. What are you talking about? You have like 10 times as many followers as you have posts. That's pretty clear indicator that it's resonating. For folks listening who want large followings, do you have advice for them in terms of like how to manage that? Is there a way to manage that, or does that even need to be managed?
I think it just depends on like your communication style. I don't think I spend a lot of time managing my community, but at the same time, when I started this group, I didn't even think it would be a community. I just, I kind of just do stuff and see what works. Yeah. And I don't have any expectation. So yeah, I don't have like an influx of people needing stuff from me.
Right.
Yeah, they know when I publish every week. I make sure to let them know when we're meeting up. I've got everything kind of like shortcuts, like here's how you sign it up for a session. And I rarely change that. That gives me more freedom to do whatever I want with my Friday posts.
Right.
So, yep. Yeah, you really just have to have fun and have no expectations. That's the only way your work will resonate, I think, is just like have fun and quit looking at other people's stuff and trying to be like, oh, maybe I should try that. Like that, I know this isn't a good approach because I have tried it, and it always makes you feel like, oh, I'm going to have to try this because somebody else did it, and it doesn't ever go as well. It's sort of, listen to your gut, and sometimes it will really screw with you and lead you down the wrong path, but sometimes you post something you sketch in 5 minutes and people love it.
Yeah, it's hard to predict how people are going to react.
You gotta it goes back to like what you were saying about the open mind. You don't need to be like, oh, I gotta have the perfect paper or the perfect drawing. Like most of my things that people like the most, I've drawn on printer paper.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, nothing has to be perfect. The materials don't have to be. The work does not have to be. You don't have to be. Like, we're not machines.
Mm-hmm.
And even the machines make mistakes. So if they make mistakes, as we all have seen, and we all agree, machines do make mistakes, why are we not allowing ourselves to make mistakes? You know what I'm saying? That's weird.
Yeah, definitely. I love when, I go outside of the lines. I want that raw energy that I have when I'm having a good old time. I love like little kids' drawings. The energy in that,
God,
those,
the best.
Like I'm so inspired like by my nephews. My nephew will like put out anything he does. I try. He will put paint on his hands and smush it around on the page, and I'm like, wow, what a brilliant genius. Like that's such a good way to start.
Mm-hmm.
Or he'll go in with both hands. I love, and this is something I've been doing, and I will find myself switching hands like all the time now.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely look at little kids. What are they doing? They're the best artists.
They are. It's funny. It's such a good way of putting it. You don't ask him, so tell me, how did you get that texture? What did you use? What medium did you use? What was your technique? What special paints did you get? He's going to look at you like, I don't know, that one. I used that one, and I used my hands. What do you want from me? Mm-hmm. Like I feel like that could be, not to say that this is what everyone has to do all the time from now on moving forward, but again, it goes back to pulling the stops out, removing as many hurdles as possible, getting to a place where you can just sit and draw, and you don't need to have like the right cup of coffee and the right music, and kids don't need any of that. They don't need the right.
They don't even need a paintbrush. They'll just go right in with their hands
or their face, or their butt.
Or their truck. I love it. He has some texture that he made putting paint on his truck, his toy trucks, and then just running it across the page.
Yeah, perfect.
What a genius.
Perfect. Then you take that, you can scan it, and then use it as a texture for cornfields or something.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I actually put a piece of printer paper on a table at the retreat space last week, and I scribbled, and I got all this delicious texture that they were like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm going to scan this when I get home. It's going to make something cool.
Yep. Just keep
something
making
that
cool
no one
stuff.
else probably has made, No one else has made those marks.
Exactly.
Yeah, on that exact spot. And that's really special. I think that is what I try to achieve in my work more than anything is that, everything's already been done and it's all out there on the stupid internet. But if I can inject some originality in whatever way I can, I think, then yay, mission accomplished.
Well, that's a great way of ending the episode.
Okay.
What
Perfect.
piece of advice, other than what you've already shared, word of wisdom, word of insight, word of warning, whatever, would you like to share with illustrators listening?
Promote yourself. Be proud of where you are right now. And don't be afraid to talk about your work, because people are going to want you to talk about it a lot the more successful you get.
And sign up for Introvert Drawing Club.
Yeah, it's a fun place.
To learn more about Beth, visit BethSpencerIllustration.com. If you find value in this podcast, you can support it by subscribing to my best-selling Substack. For $5 a month or $50 a year, you will access hundreds of articles on the art, practice, and history of illustration, unlock bonus podcast episodes called Extra Credit, and connect with other members of the ID community. Join me on Substack by visiting illustrationdEpt.substack.com. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.
You know who's surprisingly good with money? Greenlight Kids. The other day, mine stopped to think about the ROI on a bag of chips. Seriously. From getting paid for doing chores around the house to saving up for concerts, Greenlight's teaching my kids how to handle their money.
Greenlight your kids' financial future with the #1 family finance and safety app. Try Greenlight risk-free at greenlight.com/podcast.